Hey friends, today we're going through how I resolve merge conflicts perfectly every single time with the git diff3 merge config. Everything I know about this I learned from my colleagues at Ableton, and in particular Mark Zabel, who's a Git wizard, so not taking any credit for that, just something I've learned from other smart people. But here is an example merge conflict situation. So we have some initial code. It's very simple. It just takes an integer and then returns it after incrementing it. Then we had one path of development where we actually decided to change that core computation and make it different. Now it's 2. Then we had another parallel development that was happening where we decided to refactor the code and actually extract out a variable. And then now I'm going to show how we can resolve this conflict. And specifically, the important part is that in your Git config, you need to be using the diff3 conflict style. Very important. So now I'm checked out onto the branch, and I'm going to try to rebase onto master. And we get the conflict. And let's take a look at the conflict. This is what the conflict marker looks like if you're using the diff3 style. And the important part is this middle hunk, this middle section. That's what the diff3 gives you. You do not get this otherwise. You get, I think, just the top part and only the bottom part, which is not enough information to resolve the conflict. But with diff3, you get, so first of all, the middle part is the code before either change happened. Then on either side, you can see the two competing changes that are both trying to modify this part of the code. So on the one hand, we have the main master development, which changed the logic. On the other hand, we had the refactor that was happening. And this is important. This is actually critical. You wouldn't be able to resolve this conflict well if you didn't have this context. Now that we do have the context, we can reason about the changes that are happening. And the mechanical way to do this is first, you start with the middle, and then you can go in either direction, but we're just going to go in one direction for now. So we're going to compare it to the first path of development. And that is, the difference here is that we're changing the core computation from x plus 1 to x plus 2. Now that we have that difference, we apply it to the below hunk. So that change was x plus 1 goes to x plus 2, and then you just keep that hunk. And that's it. We've now resolved the conflict. We have both sets of development. So the first set was we changed the computation, and the second set was we did a refactor and extracted out the variable. And we've merged those together now. So that's just, that was resolving the conflict in one direction. Let's do it in the other direction now. So we begin with the middle, and then we look at the bottom, and we see what's the change here. So it's not the computation. The computation is the same. The change is that the new variable was introduced. And so we apply that change to the top. So let's basically do the same thing. So it's going to be int ret equals x plus 2, return ret. And then we'll keep the top part. And that is exactly the same end result as we had in the previous section. It was just a bit more work this time because the change was bigger going from the middle to the bottom than it is from the top. And so in practice, when you're doing this, you want to look at all the hunks and see which is the smallest or simplest transformation from the middle to either the top or the bottom, and then apply that to the other one and then keep it. So that's all I got for today. That's just how you can use the diff3 mode and resolve conflicts perfectly and mechanically every time.